Hello, I am Centimus Prime, and here I will be unboxing, building, and then reviewing another one of these Blokees Transformers Galaxy version Wave 1 mystery boxes. So first things first, we're going to be taking a look at the packaging of these things themselves. I am going to be taking this one and setting this one aside for a later video. But taking a look at the box itself, over here on this side, we do get a nice look at their Optimus Prime for this wave. Very nice wave of buildable figures. That's nice. Do have the Blokees logo, Transformers, Model Kit Experience. Here's the Galaxy version font. Here's the number that indicates that this is the first wave. We have rollout. We have the approximate number of pieces. We have a mystery box. Over here on the background, we do get a look at this Autobot logo here in the background. Very nice. It even has a nice little grid that reminds me of the G1 packaging. Cool. We have the 40 years of Transformers logo right there. And we also have the authentic Transformers genuine license thing. And down across here is your warning choking hazards, warning label choking hazards, small parts, not for children under 3 years. Okay. Over here we do have Blokees figures. Overall very nice. We turned 90 degrees, and here we get pretty much the same thing, only this time we have Megatron here at full display. We have a nice look at Megatron this time. And in the background we do get a look at the Decepticon logo. And things are slightly mirrored compared to the Optimus Prime. Mostly just the background and how this figure's angled. But aside from that, it's pretty much the same. Over here on the top, not a whole lot, it's just the Blokees logo and the 40 years of Transformers. Over here on the bottom, not a whole lot, it's just things you typically put on the bottom of your packaging and this random dotted square thing right here. Not entirely sure what that's about, but okay. Now we go back to the sides and turn it onto this side, which I assume is the back because it has stuff that you would typically put on the back of your packaging too. Very neat. Like barcode and things. And over here we do get a 1-to-1 the size. We do get a 1-to-1 size for image that showcases the size of the Optimus Prime for this wave. Very interesting. And if we turn it one more time, we do get this side, which does show off the figures you can potentially get for this wave. I have already gotten quite a few of these ones already. I've gotten both Seekers, I've gotten Blue Streak, I've gotten Ratchet, and both Seekers, Blue Streak, and Ratchet. Yeah, those are the few I got currently. I'm still wanting to get Optimus Prime and Megatron. Though considering that I only have 2 boxes left and there's quite a few of these left that I haven't gotten, chances of me getting both of them is very slim, and heck, even chances of me getting just one of them is also kind of slim. But hey, I'll enjoy what I got regardless. Regardless, very nice. And one more thing to mention. These mystery boxes, they have this nice rainbowy holographic effect. which does look very neat. It does make it look very eye-catching in like a store shelf. So there is that. It's interesting. It's eye-catching. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. And with that, we can now get into the unboxing itself. So, what we do, we can of course try to carefully remove this. It is held together with some of this like sort of package glue or whatever it is. And if we lift up this lid on the top, we do get wording on here saying "soon coming." There is some angles that helps make it stand out a little bit more. There we go. It says "soon coming." I assume they mean like coming soon, but considering that the first word is on top and you would usually read from the top down in English, in like reading English. So I just read it as soon coming, but hey, regardless, still a nice detail. And if we move this up, untap this, and lift this part, we do get a look at our soon coming figures for our next wave of Blokees, of course being Starscream and Grimlock. And if we lift these things up, we do get a look at the silver baggies, which contains our parts for our next Blokees figure. So we can, of course, pull these out, pull this back up, and set the package aside. And with that, we can now take a look at the contents itself. With the contents within. So much like the rest of the ones I've opened so far, it does come with a fold out sheet of instructions. Instruction sheet. So on this side we do get our assembly instructions on how to assemble our Blokees figures. Here we do have Optimus Prime in full display, showing off like how to assemble these like Blokees figures. And if we turn this around, if we turn this sheet around, we also get a look at individual steps in specialized individual steps for the various different characters. So we got like specialized steps for Jazz. We got and the Seekers and Megatron and the Dotson Bros and Ratchet and Ironhide, which are just standing there for some reason. Still cool. And we also do get a small little showcase of the blast effect pieces. So that's cool. But at this point, I've already gotten used to assembling these things. They're not that hard to assemble, so I don't really need the instructions at this point. So with that, we can now get into the unboxing. We can now reveal which character I got this time. So the character I got this time, let's open this up, is okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, I got Megatron in here. Here is the little cardboard coin thing that all of these Blokees things come with. Here, there's barcode in back. Very neat. Set that aside. Cool. Very cool. And now, of course, we can open up the other baggie. And in here, we do get more parts. Like, in this bag, we also have our base plates, but we also have our sprues for Megatron's, like, joints and his hands. Very nice. Ooh, very nice color for these joints. That's nice. That's nice. And something to note about these sprues. Like, typically you would use like a pair of nippers like this and carefully like cut the parts out and have them carefully cut out like so. But something that these Blokees like kits I like to advertise in some of their in some of their like boxes is like for these ones, these are sort of like these snap, like you can sort of like snap these out of these sprues, which means you don't necessarily even need the cutters for these types of kits. For these types of kits, you can just break them off like so. It's like pretty easy. Which I notice that can sometimes leave a little bit of excess plastic on the parts themselves, but it's not too bad. And not too bad. And something else, we can break off one of these pieces and one of these pieces, and I can quickly show you the assembly for these like joints. So you grab a part like this and a part like this. Like, they're both different because one has a hole through this rounded part and the other has this peg thing through. What you do with these is you basically grab one of each and you basically attach them together like so. And you basically repeat that step like 3 more times. So yeah, assembly for these joints, very simple, very elegant, I believe. And I've also broke off the other parts in here, including what will be the shoulder like joints and whatever these things are. Still not entirely sure. Like, these are just things that like can attach to the figures. It's interesting. They're odd little pieces, but I still think they're kind of cool. And so with that, we can now go ahead and start the assembly, start the building segments here. And so to start things off, we will be taking a piece like this, which does kind of look like a Lego minifigure torso piece, but it's all fine and good. Has a little bit of printing on there, a little Decepticon logo, and words and things. What we do here is we take 2 of these pieces that we broke off the sprues. Now we took off the sprues, and we could just pop those onto those ball joints like so. Very nice. Then after that, we can take our torso pieces. Here's our chest piece and our back piece. And what we're going to do is we could just lay this onto and carefully, and also keeping in mind the fact that these tabs, that these round tabs basically neatly like fall into these grooves right here. So keep that in mind. And so you lie this down here, keeping in mind of those tabs. Same thing on this side. And what you do is you slide the chest over, and you basically plug it in by plugging these round tabs into these round holes, while also keeping in mind these tabs. After that, after we just tap this together, we can then use one of our clear ball joint pieces and just pop this into the neck. It does require a little bit of extra force, but not too bad. Here we have our upper torso. Now let's quickly put together our lower torso. So here we have our torso, our lower torso piece. And what we basically do is we just plug in two of these into these holes using these tubes, like so. And we also have one of these parts with a little bit of extra printing on there. Very nice. We just plug that into the other side. Just double checking something. Alright. And we can, of course, plug this into the upper torso, like so. And there we have that. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Next up, we'll do let's do the arms next, I think. So, for the arms, we'll take one of our silver bicep pieces. What we can then do is attach one of our joint assemblies and basically just plug one end into the hole at the bicep. Very nice. What we can then do is grab one of our shoulder pieces. Ooh. Oh, wow. These shoulder pieces look interesting. I want to talk about these later. During the review segment. So, for now, we can just assemble this like normal. So, attaching the shoulder pad to the shoulder, not too difficult. You just slot these round tabs into those grooves in the armor, like so. Then after that, we'll take our forearm piece, and they are mirrored, so you are going to have to be careful with how you place them, depending on like what side you want to like this extra like ports, this extra hole. Like if you want a cleaner look that doesn't have that hole, you could just plug this one in on this arm and plug this one in on the other arm. But considering that Megatron has the forearm mounted cannon, I'm just going to attach this one onto this arm because this one has the hole on this side. So we can just plug the other end into this forearm, like so. And it just snaps in quite satisfying. And then after that, we can then take one of our hands, one of our lefties in this case, and just pop the ball joint into this socket right here. Boom. There we have that. Cool. And then after that, what we can then do is mirror that build. So here we have the other arm, but this time we have an extra step of assembly, because here we have extra parts for the fusion cannon. Yeah, very cool. So, for the fusion cannon, for the fusion cannon, maybe I do have to bring out the instructions again to see which cap goes where. Alright. So this cap, it plugs into the back end like so. And then the other cap plugs into the front. So there we have that. Here we have our fusion cannon assembled. And then after that we can set that aside and then work on the legs. So for the legs, here we can then bring in one of our thigh pieces. Like, which one do we want? It doesn't matter. They're the same anyway. They're absolutely identical in this case. Okay, so we grab one of our thigh pieces. We take another one of our joint assemblies from the sprue and basically just plug one end into the hole, much like the arm. Then after that, we'll take one of our lower leg pieces and plug the other end into the leg, like so. Very cool. Then after that, we'll take another one of these clear ball joints and plug that into this hole right here, and push that in until it does a click. It does a nice satisfying click. May require a little bit of extra force, but after that we can then take one of our feet pieces and just pop the ball joint into the socket joint right here. Whoop. And then after that, we can then take one of our shin pieces and just satisfyingly clip this shin piece onto the leg, like so. Very, very nice. It's a decent connection, and it's kind of satisfying, to be honest. And so after we have that leg assembled, we can then mirror the leg, mirror that for the other leg, and with that we can then do a quick assembly for the head, which ain't hard. We just grab our face, our like head, and much like the shoulder armor, like how the shoulder armor is connected, we basically slide these round like tab things on the sides into the grooves in the inside of the helmet. So we can push that in until it clicks in, and there we have Megatron's head. After that, we should do some finishing touches, like the back assembly for Megatron. So we grab our back piece like this and just push and just plug this into the back. We can then take our like barrel piece here and plug this into up here like so. And yeah, that looks pretty good. And so after that, we can then work on our final assembly. So obviously we pop the shoulder. Let's do that. So let's pop. So we attach our arms. So we attach our arms to the shoulder, which worked pretty well that time, but usually for me, it's usually kind of easier to... Oh yeah, that's actually pretty easy this time. Usually I had to take these off to make attaching the arms to the shoulders a bit easier. But here I didn't need to do that, so that's nice. what we can then do is attach the legs, like so. And then the head just pops onto the neck. Then after that, we can then plug our fusion cannon onto the forearm. Doop. And with that, here we have Megatron fully assembled and ready to go. And I must say, wow, I simply must say, this Megatron looks pretty cool. Here's a nice look at him from the back. Looks very nice. I honestly do like this one in hand. Obviously, I didn't get all the excess plastic from the joints, but oh well. Still fine. Getting a close-up of his head. Yeah, that face is actually kind of sculpted kind of nice. Yeah, that's a pretty good evil grin from Megatron, and we even have the eyes and the eyebrows printed in using their Blokees printing. Very cool. The shaping of the helmet itself is really nice. Really liking the smoothness of this head, of this helmet design. Very cool. Very cool. Moving down to the torso, do get your Decepticon logo. There is a significant amount of extra details here on the chest than what you would typically see from a G1 Megatron design, but it doesn't look too bad. And of course, down here we have your sort of light up panel, your button panel thing on his abdomen, as well as some venting details on the side. That's real cool. Very neat. And turning him around to his back, that is that's a nicely detailed back, to be honest. I do notice that all these are very clean. Obviously, they don't really have a transformation, so they have no excuse for having big backpacks of kibble. But here, there's extra pops of there's extra shaping to the back here that makes it look nice and greebly. Makes it look interesting, more three-dimensional, I think. And even this tube, and even this tube thing up here that forms the barrel of the gun, typically. Well, it looks nice. Very cool. Yeah, very nice. Moving on to the arms. The arms are actually kind of interesting to me because the shoulders on here are super interesting to me because unlike the other Transformer figures I've opened so far where they had this very smooth shoulder square, this smooth shoulder thing aside from the Seekers, which is basically the same but with a ball joint attached to it instead. This one just has a unique shoulder design. It's a nice unique shoulder design that's nicely detailed and even has those little spikes in the top. Looks really cool. Gives him that extra silhouette that helps stand him out from the other Blokees. So that's real cool. Lower arms are pretty much the same, but I'm not too mad at that. Something I am honestly surprised with are the color of red that is used for the joints. Because getting into this, for some reason I was expecting sort of this red right here. I was expecting his joint. Well, it's probably better if I use Blue Streak as a comparison. I was expecting this shade of red, just bright shade of red for the Megatron, for his joints, but I am surprised to see that that's not quite the case. It's like this nice dark sort of maroon sort of red, and I do think that like, and I do think that like helps out with the design. And I do think that it does benefit from using that shade of red rather than the super bright, colorful red, bold red, you know. And coming down to the lower torso, very nice and very smooth on the back, and on the front we even do get some extra bits of detail, some extra printing. Very, very nice. Even some like little some little extra pops of red. Whoops. So, like I was saying, some extra little pops of red. Very nice. Very nice. Like thighs, nothing. Like thighs, we've seen these before. Cool to get them in this color. Very nice. Knees in that nice maroon red. And as far as the lower legs go, yeah, they look very nice. They look how I'd expect Megatron's lower legs to look. Now, nice big blocky. They like give off that Megatron silhouette. And as far as the feet go, yep, the feet are very similar to the others, only this time in this light gray. And very cool. Very cool. Yeah, very nice. Do think this looks really cool. So in terms of articulation, so let's go into articulation now. The head is on a ball joint, can look up a tiny bit, and it does, unfortunately, because of his chin, doesn't really look down a whole lot, but still does have a nice range of head tilts, and obviously the rotation, the 360 rotation, very nice. Shoulders. So the shoulders are on this double ball joint. So we have the ball joint at the base of the shoulder and the ball joint at the shoulder itself. So you do get some nice extra range of movement from the shoulders. Outward movement. Interesting. It's like because of like these extra spikes of detail. Unfortunately, he's not able to like move his arms all the way out. So that is. So yeah, this Megatron, like compared to the other Blokees figures, is slightly more restricted in terms of shoulder articulation, but that's fine. He can still rotate. He can still rotate his arm, and it still has the 360 bicep rotation. Elbow can bend up to slightly past 90. Ball joint at the wrist, so you can rotate his fist around, and of course you can tilt it in various angles, because it is on that ball joint, so there is extra bits of expression when it comes to the hands. That's nice. Torso, there is a 360 waist rotation, unhindered. Very nice to see on the Megatron. Ball joints at the hips can kick up to about that far and back to about that far. Can obviously do the splits. Can kick out to a bit past a little bit past 90. That's cool. But can definitely do the splits, and because it is on a ball jointed hip, you can even play around with that as a sort of like extra little bit of rotation there. Knees, there is a above the knee swivel. There is a bend at the knee can bend to slightly past 90. And for the feet, there are on these ball joints, so they can tilt up to about that far, back to about that far, can tilt side to side, and can even rotate around a little bit, but unfortunately it doesn't really. It's slightly hindered due to the side panels here. Yeah, very, very cool. Next, we're moving on to accessories. So they all do come with this sort of base plate sort of piece, which if you did end up getting more of these, you can take your base plates and basically link them together to have like extra extra display options with that, I guess. With this, I guess. But that is, in fact, something that they do come with. Even though they honestly don't really need them, they honestly can just pose around and stand up, and bounce well. But it's still nice that they do include these base plates. Provides like extra little options. Like so. Accidentally disconnected his arm. Disconnect. Dislocation. Megatron, I'm so sorry for your dislocation. Oh no. Yeah, should be fine. Should be fine for now. But very bad. Do apologize for that, Megs. Megatron, I'm so sorry. Sorry for dislocating your arm. Your fusion cannon arm. But back to the accessories. He does come with another blast effect piece, which is the same as the one that comes with Ratchet. So that's nice. You can, of course, use this to not only plug into the other guns in this wave, but you can also plug it into the fusion cannon and have that. You have like extra blast effect compatibility with the fusion cannon. Very nice, very nice. Very cool, I think. Yep, very cool. And after that, we have extra like odds and ends, and of course our alternate hands. So aside from the like fists, like these like fists with the holes in them to hold onto guns, though Megatron doesn't really include anything. Doesn't really include any weapons aside from his fusion cannon, so it doesn't really need these aside from to look like he has fists. So yeah, that's pretty much his fists hands. So you can pop these off to switch him out with his splayed opened hands. And they do look pretty good. It does provide some extra expressive expression. Does provide some extra expressive movements. Very nice. Very cool. Very sweet. But we're not done. But we're not done with the hands yet, because unlike the others, Megatron comes with another alternate hand. Here we go. Here we have a pointing hand. We have another hand, and this one points. So we can just pop this one off and pop on the pointing hand. And there we go. We have Megatron pointing at somebody. Or at something. Look, he can point now. How cool is that, I think? Like, that is, like, pretty sick. I'm just gonna swap the fist out. It is very similar to the fist piece. only with the extra finger pointing out, the index finger. Popping that on. Look at that. You can point at things. You can like say, look at that thing right there. Look at that thing right there. It's called Bumblebee. Poke. Yeah, very cool. Like, that is like an extra, like, accessory. That's like an extra, like, it even provides, like, so much more, expressive movements that not even the splayed open hands can provide. It's just brings out a lot of expression from it. Just provides so much more expressive movements and expressive poses for the Megatron. Unfortunately, we don't have one for the right hand. There's only a pointing hand. There's only a pointing hand for the left arm. So unfortunately we don't get one for the right arm, but that's fine. Okay. And coming up next for our accessories, we do have a spare one of these, like, clear ball joint things, which is really nice that each one of these figures comes with a spare, like, clear part like this ball joint. In the off chance that you accidentally lose or break one of these joints off the ankles or the neck. But another use I found for this is you could just plug it into the fist and basically pretend it's a microphone. Basically pretends like a microphone, like, and so now he can pull off his rock star poses and just point at everyone else. He could just point at you instead. Look at that. Now that is a rock star right there. Megatron the rock star. How cool is that? Oh yes. Yes. He's doing the Gurren Lagann pose. That's awesome. Yes. I'm having so much fun with this. I'm having so much fun with this extra hand accessory. And, of course, aside from that, we do also get a pair of these pieces, which do come in the sprues. They have a Decepticon logo on one side and an Autobot logo on the other. So there is that. You can, of course, plug them into either the hands or into the forearms. And you could basically play around with those if you like. Mostly, these honestly do get set off to the side a lot. Not really a whole lot of use for these, but hey, it's still nice that they come with them. I still do like them. The hand thing is so fun. The pointing hand is so fun. Okay, so now we can move on to our size comparisons. Here is Megatron next to our sloppy paint job of a Sentimus Prime using the Siege mold, the Siege Optimus Prime. Here's Sentimus Prime right here. Very cool. Here he is next to the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. So yeah, only slightly taller than this Bumblebee. Yeah, is that. And of course we can go ahead and bring in our other figures from this lineup so far. Even Skywarp right here. In terms of how he sizes next to these guys, he is taller than Ratchet right here. is definitely taller than Blue Streak. It's like almost a head taller. And yeah, he's even like, and yeah, he even seems to be, he's even like a little bit, ever so slightly taller than the Seekers as well. Of course, most of that is thanks to the like extra length provided by the leg pieces, I think, because the torsos are identical in size and the upper legs are identical in size. It is pretty much just the lower legs that is providing the varying size differences. So there is that. Very nice, very cool. Setting those off to the side. And so we now come to my overall thoughts on this figure. This is honestly really cool. Very nice. Like the details that it has some really nice sculpted in details. The colors are nice. The fusion cannon, both the fusion cannon and this like extra barrel thing up here, very nicely done, I think. And I wonder if no, this doesn't really plug into here like so, and neither can it plug into there. But hey, this is a thought. Doesn't really fit. Wait, I can make it work. Boom! Boom! Oh, that's so cool. Now you die. And now you die. So yeah, I do really enjoy this thing. The colors are really nice, the details are good. Unfortunately, he is slightly hindered in articulation in terms of the shoulders, but aside from that, he is just as articulated as the rest of them. The fusion cannon's nice, you can just take that off and be able to, like, I don't know, give it to Ratchet or something. Very nice, you can give him payback for absolutely obliterating him with his finger. Absolutely hilarious. Okay, so yeah, overall, this is a really nice, fortunately, this is like a really nice Blokees experience for me. Absolutely bumping into everything right now. I couldn't be any more happier for it. It's absolutely gorgeous. In terms of a non-transforming Megatron, this one expresses himself. This one provides so much expression and movements, and it is so fun. That's actually really nice. Really nice. See, the extra like pointing hand. The extra like pointing. The extra pointing hand. It basically sealed the deal. This is now my favorite Blokees figure. This is now my favorite out of the Blokees figures. This one's so cool. Oh, this is so fun. But yeah, overall, do like this one. Do recommend getting your hand I do recommend this Blokees figure. Very cool. Out of all the Blokees figures I've put together so far, This one is the one that I do recommend the most out of these Blokees figures. And with that, I think that'll be it for this unboxing and review. If you enjoyed the video, consider to like and subscribe, and maybe even comment if you want. And of course, I will be posting again sooner or later.